This week on the Digital Marketing Scoop, it's Pamela's last scoop. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Digital Marketing Scoop. So this week's episode is actually Pamela's last episode. It's her last week at Click is coming up. Uh,
Oh,
so Pamela, I suppose if you want to tell everyone a little about your experience here, what you learned,
yeah.
I suppose, and where you're going. Because I always knew we'd lose you to the fashion.
I know. I mean, I think, do you know what now? I didn't expect to leave this early, but the fashion was probably always going to call on my door at some stage. No, I remember because we were talking about it the other day that like I came from my first in-house job into agency and whoa, like I thought I knew stuff in-house and then you come into the agency, you're like, I know nothing. Like, whoa. It was crazy. But like thank God like you and Christian like learned so much, especially about like, Facebook and Google Ads, like just even like the process and the structure and like, the little things that I feel like a lot of people don't know, the kind of ins and outs properly and like you're really good at testing. Which I never did in my previous roles. So that was like, I was like, oh God, yeah, you should be like it was just so obvious when you told us. But like we just never had tested really. But testing is so important. So that's definitely one thing that I will always like take with me now for the rest of my career is like, testing things all the time and just changing even like one small thing can make such a difference, one word, one color, just something. So that's one thing that I love that I learned. And definitely I really, really liked working on Facebook ads. I kind of found there was some parts of the job obviously that were harder than others, and I think I found my feet definitely with like Facebook advertising and things. I really,
Cool.
really liked that, the kind of social element, the fun, creating the content, and then using it for the ad as well, kind of all that tying in together. So I really liked that.
And that's the thing, I suppose Facebook ads and Google ads, while we often group them together as pay per click, they are very different beasts.
Yeah, yeah,
They're very, very different platforms. The content matters so much on Facebook and Instagram,
yeah.
obviously. Whereas with Google search ads, we're obviously it's more the data and the analytics you're focused on much more. Um, so it is like I suppose that's the thing. When you came in, you were thrown in the deep end. You were thrown
Yeah.
in. It was probably a bit overwhelming, as I'm sure it will be for the next person who comes in as well.
Good luck.
Uh, but that's the thing. You will learn so much. You'll find the areas you
Mm.
really like and develop those over time as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's a huge thing now for me going into my new role with a clothes brand called Love the Flamingo. So obviously fashion is really all about the Instagram, all about the content and all that kind of stuff. So definitely marrying that then with the real ads and pay-per-click and things in Facebook, it's going to be a huge development for them as well. So I'm excited.
Ah, brilliant. Very good altogether.
Yeah.
So, anything else to say before we finish up your very last episode?
I know, I can't believe it. Do you know what I absolutely loved as well about my role? Half my role was to do this podcast. And I love that because like, do you know, I'm such a chatter. Like I'd be like talking. Like, I mightn't be the best speller, but I'll chat for days, that kind of way. So I really liked working on the podcast and I loved kind of seeing, the back end of it and seeing how it all works and I'm so delighted that I got to the studio because, we've been at
I
home for
know,
half it, but
yeah,
at
because
least I did get into the studio.
it was only a couple of months, I suppose, that we
Yeah.
were actually in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause most of your time in the role has been remote, like which
Remote,
is
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been crazy. Yeah, because it's
which is
it's kind
crazy.
of
Yeah.
been going in and out. Like my first week, I started remote. Then the second week, I was in the office, and it was kind of just the way the world's going now at the moment. So it was in and out. But I think it was really good as well that I got to experience both because you learn loads when we're in the office together, but you actually realize how much you can do. You can talk to people then remotely as well and how things can work if you're all in different spaces because we have people not in Cork as well, so it's really handy that we're all talking to each other all the time with our morning meeting is like fantastic just to like catch up what's everyone up to
Yeah.
for the day and it kind of just brings everyone in sync as well, so it's really good.
Brilliant. Well, I suppose, Pamela, the biggest compliment I can give you is that we're all going to miss you.
Oh, thank you. I'm
And
gonna miss you too. I actually like. I really can't believe I'm leaving because I had no intentions of. It was just this job came at me, and I
at
just
the end of the day, when as I say, I always had an inkling that if something like that did come your way, that we might end up losing you. But fortunately, it was a lot quicker than I
yeah.
would have hoped for. But
Oh,
no, I mean, look, you were absolutely fantastic in the role. You're
thank
going
you.
to be a tremendous asset to your next employer. And best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you so much. I've learned so much from you all, and I just thank you so much from like for to you. You've given me such a huge opportunity. You've put my face out there with this podcast as well, and you've taught me so much. And then all the guys that I'm working with as well. I've learned so much like from each of them, and so many different aspects of digital marketing. So it's been a huge learning experience as well, which I'm really grateful for.
Brilliant. Brilliant altogether. That's been this week's episode of the Digital Marketing Scoop. See you soon, Pamela.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of the Digital Marketing Scoop. If you haven't subscribed yet, please search the Digital Marketing Scoop at any of your favorite podcast platforms and subscribe. And if you'd like to follow us on LinkedIn or Instagram, just search for Click Media and Marketing. That's CLIQ Media and Marketing, and we'd love for you to follow us.